Hello, I'm Griffin Newman.
I'm David Sims.
This is the podcast where we exclusively talk about Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, in our pursuit of the answer to one simple question: what is this movie about?
Is it so simple?
It's, in theory, simple.
Yeah.
In practice, very, very difficult to answer. And just to reestablish the ground rules, for those of you who haven't listened to Episode 1 yet, we are not going to acknowledge the existence of any other Star Wars
I don't know
films.
what you're talking about.
I had to say it quickly. I know it's a violation. Producer Ben, feel free to dock me points.
No, it's okay. You're laying down the rules.
I wanted our listeners to understand. So from this point on, we
Phantom
will
Menace.
not acknowledge any other who knows what other movies exist. I don't know about any others. This week's topic: the royalty of Naboo.
Yeah, the royal family. The queen. Is there a family?
We want to figure out the structure.
Yeah, and just there's a lot of stuff going on with this little planet and how it governs itself.
Oh, yeah. We want to get into Amidala as a character, her arc.
Yeah, how it protects its queen.
The handmaidens, not to tip our hand too much, our handmaidens too much. But right off the bat, I rewatched the film last night.
I rewatched it, I think, 2 nights ago.
And producer Ben, you also.
I also watched it recently, so I'm up to date.
I watched the Blu-ray Ultimate Collection edition. I don't know.
Did I?
Yeah, as did you? Okay.
I just had a DVD.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Producer Ben's a bit of a basic bitch, but we will go on. Last week, we only covered the first 8 minutes and 40 seconds of the film.
I think 8 minutes and 56 seconds.
So I didn't rewatch the whole film. And this week, I did.
Right, yeah. The first week, I hadn't either. We had just sort of watched the opening section of the film to really sort of, get the aroma of it,
We just
really
want to
let it
open up
waft
the
over
scent.
us. Exactly, yeah. Exactly. We were kind of letting the tannins mellow.
Yeah. Just see how it plays on the nose.
Exactly, because the Phantom Menace, it's like a fine glass of wine.
You gotta let it aerate a little bit.
Yeah.
So that was our entry point. And this week we're covering not a scene, but a sort of thread throughout the entire film. So I wanted to watch the whole film.
Right, well, we watched the whole movie. Right.
And who knows how many times I've seen this movie at this point.
I was thinking about that. I've seen it probably at least a dozen times, I think. I saw it a few times in theaters, probably 2 or 3 times in theaters.
I think I probably saw it 4 or 5 times in theaters.
That's a lot. That's crazy. Wow.
I definitely saw the 3D re-release, which you did as well.
I saw the 3D, right, so it might be up to 4 times in theaters.
Yeah. And
then I owned it on VHS.
See, I didn't own it on VHS, so I think I've seen it less since then, but at friends' places, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
But
Spike TV.
Sure.
It's always on Spike TV.
It's always on Spike. And Spike is always on.
Right.
On like sexually.
And characters
it always has
are
a boner.
welcome there.
It's got a boner, and its characters are welcome to
Yes.
bone.
Right.
Drink Red Bull. That too, I think.
Producer Ben, please. We're trying to keep our legitimacy. Oh, God damn it! What am I fucking talking about? This movie makes me think that non-words are words.
Legitimacy. That could be like one of the former queens of Naboo.
Should be called legitimacy.
If you say it in an Asian stereotype.
Hey, well, first, let's talk about this for a second.
Oh, yeah. Your Glee last week.
I might have gone a little too hard last week.
and imitating Newt Gunray and the Nemoidians.
Yeah, I might have enjoyed myself a little too much, and for that, I want to apologize to our listeners.
Yeah,
I didn't create the impression, but I did. I really...
Yeah.
I had my cake and I ate it too, and then I baked another cake and I ate that one in quick succession.
You were just grinning with glee at the idea that you were allowed to do this, I think.
It was liberating. It was liberating because of all the animosity I've had towards those characters over the years.
Right.
But I think that enthusiasm transferred into what seemed to be a enjoyment of slamming a group of people.
Oh boy.
A large swath of the
and
population.
Mocking them. A humongous swath of the population.
Right, and not even a country, just just sort of a third of the world.
Because once again, we agreed last week that the racism is very nonspecific.
Yeah, it's just Asians.
It's sort of all Asians.
It's just greedy jelly Asians.
Yeah. And so for this week's episode, because it's not relevant, I'm not going to do my impressions of the Nemoidians because it wouldn't be illegal.
I'm docking you points, Griffin.
Okay, you can dock me a point. But so I rewatched the film last night.
Okay, and I watched it, I think, on Monday night.
And every time I've seen it, I'd say post the age of 10, right?
Yeah.
Saw it 4 or 5 times in theaters. Don't think I saw it for a year or two after that. By that point, I had realized it wasn't good.
It had soured.
When I was a kid, as I said, thought it was the best one yet. Upon first viewing, I thought...
That was your review coming out of the theater,
I
right?
said,
the
easily
best one yet.
the best one yet.
Yes.
And then within 2 years, I was like, I get it, it's not good. Every time I've seen it in that post-realization state, I start out the exact same way. I turn it on and I go, you know what? I want to be the guy who makes the argument for why this movie is great.
I know. I know what you mean. And especially watching it on this Blu-ray. It's a gorgeous transfer.
It's a gorgeous transfer. Incredible sound mix.
Ugh. Really good sound mix.
I always want to be the guy who cracks the code.
Yeah.
And I love going against the grain. I'm a contrarian dude.
I mean, that is why we are recording this podcast a little bit, probably. There's that inkling. Yeah.
We'd love to figure it out and crack it and make everyone go, oh, it is great. We never got it before.
Right. Yeah.
I always started
Producer
out...
Ben is shaking his head just with despair.
Every time I start out with that attitude. I go, I know what it is. It's not very good, but, I want to figure it out this time.
You don't want to just... You're not watching it like in a... It's not like you're cranking on like Batman and Robin. It's like so bad it's good, you're just going to laugh at it. Like, that's not why I watch The Phantom Menace.
Sure. And, I made this argument for a while where I was like, maybe, and this is sort of what our podcast is doing, maybe devoid of all expectations. The anticipation for the movie was so high. The excitement was so high. It could never live up to what people were imagining in their heads. Maybe if you just took it on its own, devoid of everything, and just looked at it as a movie, it'd be solid. It'd be fine for what it is. I always want to make that argument. And at the end of every time I watch it, I come away with the same answer, which is that movie is overrated. I go into it going, I want to argue why it's better than people think it is, and I walk out going, it actually should be slammed more thoroughly than... We don't talk enough about how problematic it is.
So it took one viewing and 2 episodes of this podcast for you just to realize, no, The Phantom Menace is basically a garbage movie.
Until the next time I watch, I guarantee the next time I watch, I'm going to answer it with the same.
Well, that's the thing. You overrate it going in, and then you're like, this thing's overrated.
Maybe it's only overrated by my own...
Yeah, it might be overrated by Griffin Newman.
Perspective.
Griffin Newman 2 hours earlier.
Yeah, God, because I always...
It's a tight 2-hour movie, too.
I believe it's 2:14.
All right.
A tight 2-hour movie?
But I'm just saying, like, I feel like, you suffer through your Hobbits. They're like 3.5 hours. I don't know. Like, it's a little, there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
They visit many planets.
They do visit many planets.
Yeah.
But this is my thing.
Most movies, one
planet. That's true.
Yeah.
If even that.
Some are just set on satellites, like Moon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, we're not talking about Moon.
Not talking about Moon.
Naboo is a moon, is it? I don't know.
No, I think it's a planet.
It's a planet. All right.
Yeah. Moons don't have queens. Show me a queen of a moon, and I'll give you a hay penny.
And so, did you have some thought, like, apart from the fact that the movie is overrated?
Yeah.
Having watched it last night.
Here's my thoughtful analysis of where the film goes wrong, having really studied it,
Mm-hmm.
Taken a fine-toothed comb to the movie.
A fine-toothed
comb. Lucas has robbed me of all
language faculties.
English vocabulary. I took a fine-tooth comb to the film, and my expert analysis is it's really fucking boring. It's a boring fucking movie. That's my problem with it. I don't even care that it's kind of silly and dumb in parts. And those are big, like, lazy words I'm throwing on it.
Yeah.
But I like a lot of movies that are silly and dumb. I saw Jupiter Ascending recently. You did as well.
I love Jupiter
Ascending. We both love Jupiter Ascending.
It's good.
It's dumb. It's sloppy. It's messy. It's so much fun. It's got such a good heart. It's so well-intentioned. Yeah. It's exciting to watch.
It is, and it's busy with ideas and things. And it has moments that are a little boring or exposition-y, for sure, but, like, not on the level of this, like, extended negotiation, which is, like, what this movie is, right? This, like, series of talks between monks and...
so political.
Bureaucrats, yes.
Yeah. And...
the bureaucrats.
Producer Ben, it looks like you are burning to say something.
Well, we were talking even before we started recording, and the one reaction I had after not seeing the movie for probably 10, 15 years.
So, wow. Right. So you had a really different experience watching this movie than
absolutely. Yeah. I will just say the one thing that struck me right off the bat was there is so much exposition in this movie. Yep. Yeah. It is insane.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That is, every scene requires reams of exposition.
And this is where I get bored, okay? I don't think that I have an attention problem when it comes to movies.
No.
I like a lot of movies that most would dub as long and boring.
I think you think that some dumb people would do that.
Some dumb people would say that. That was a Freudian slip.
That was a Lucasian slip.
That was a Lucasian slip. But my favorite movie of 2014 was Mana Kamana, which is a documentary about a cable car in Nepal that goes to a temple on the top of a mountain. And it's just they put the camera in the cable car and you just watch people sitting in a cable car. The first 40 minutes, there's no dialogue. You're just watching an old man sit in a cable car.
I haven't seen this. Is this a movie?
Yeah, it's a masterpiece. I saw it 3 times in theaters.
What?
Yeah, I think it's incredible. My point is, I don't get bored.
No, yeah.
Right?
My favorite movie last year was Birdman. I'm kidding.
Oh, you piece of shit.
Sorry, go on. Yeah.
Piece of shit.
You don't get. I'm kidding. It was not my favorite movie of the
Talk
year.
about overrated.
Points?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Points!
Chris Hardwick's going to burst in here with a shotgun.
Oh, God.
Was he in this movie? Probably not.
No, he really wanted to host this podcast. And we were like, Chris.
Yeah, we said, Chris, you host a lot of podcasts.
You got enough on your plate.
Yeah.
Come on, back off, bro.
He can host the talking after.
Yeah.
He could host the podcast where they talk about this podcast.
Yeah, that's what he's going to do. That's what he deserves and nothing more.
Yeah.
There's a type of...
He probably liked Birdman.
Oh, God, he loved Birdman.
I'm Chris Hardwick. You're fine. I like Chris Hardwick.
I bet he J-Zo'd a Birdman.
Anyway.
Gives it the old J-Zo.
Yeah, he gives it a J-Zo. Yeah. And you don't give it a J-Zo
I don't think it's
to Birdman or to The Phantom Menace.
Yeah. But I like Phantom Menace more. I will say that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, unquestionably.
Yeah.
I think
Birdman's a better acted film.
Yes, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I think it's a worse written film.
Welcome to our podcast, Birdman versus Phantom Menace.
Yeah. My point is there's a type of scene that not only bores me, but almost automatically causes me to disengage from what I'm watching.
Sort of offends your artistic sort of engagement, yeah.
No, it's not even that. It's just I find myself being unable to focus on it. Okay, my brain just checks out and takes a walk.
You want to take your phone out, like if this scene is kind of happening. You're just sort of...
Or my mind sort of does free association, and I start thinking about other things, and then I realize, like, oh, you haven't been paying attention to what's been happening in this movie for... You know when you're in school and they'd give you a crappy book for English class and you'd sort of speed read through it?
Yeah,
you'd be like, oh, I read the whole chapter, but you wouldn't really process any of the words. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I'll sometimes, if a movie bores me, that will sometimes happen. And once again, it doesn't have to be a film that is boring by classical definitions, but the easiest way for me to disengage is when characters are saying something that reveal absolutely nothing about the characters for extended periods of time.
Okay.
When you have 7 characters in a scene just reciting information.
Yeah.
And this movie has that, where not only is it so expository, but it's expository in a way where it's like you could give any character in the scene any other line. You could flip them all.
It's like the Justice League.
Well, of course, that the Trade Federation is just people stating things that the characters themselves would know.
Right.
Only for the audience to understand, with like no finesse, no charm. People bag on the, wooden acting of this film, as you said. Mm-hmm. Birdman does have better acting.
Mostly.
Phantom Menace. But I would argue Phantom Menace has as good a cast as Birdman does on paper.
Forgetting a couple. Yeah, it has a great cast.
If you look at the main players.
Yeah, and some of them are trying really hard. Or sort of. I mean, I feel like Liam Neeson is trying hard in this movie.
Yeah, I mean,
he seems a little despondent.
But
he has a sense of what his character is.
No question.
Even though it's not really revealed in any other way.
Neeson phoning it in has a certain poetry to it.
Yeah. I mean, sure, right? I mean, people love Neeson phoning it in these days.
There's something about him. He's so inherently sad. He's got that big, wandering Irish drunk thing.
He has a somewhat haunted quality. Qui-Gon has a haunted quality.
And he's got this sort of poet's heart.
Yeah, and you feel like Qui-Gon, I mean, we'll get into Qui-Gon at some point, but that guy's got some weird past because everyone's sort of walking on eggshells around him.
But I think that's all in performance.
No,
that's
I agree.
Interesting.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, and that's Lucas's failure to recognize that and try to do more
care.
with it in the film. Because as written, it's one-dimensional. But there's something. There's a certain lyricism to the way he recites this banal dialogue.
Yep.
There's integrity to him as a man, Liam Neeson, as a dude, that comes through in even his laziest performances that kind of makes everything feel like it has a certain weight to it. Natalie Portman, getting around to her, the focus of today's episode, was widely trashed for this performance.
Was she?
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad. She's fine in this movie. I actually think she's good in this movie.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think she kind of did the best that she could do.
I think she might be, yeah. I think this is, it's an interesting performance because she's kind of giving two performances, right? And we'll get into that. But I think she's pretty personable when she's just regular old Padme.
Padme, I think, is a really good performance.
Yeah.
And the
really good at strike. But again, she's saddled with the most unfortunate dialogue. I mean,
yes.
And half the time she's talking to a child
who is giving her nothing.
Who's giving her less than nothing.
He's either giving her nothing or way too much.
Sure, right, yeah. I mean, there's no sense that these two would actually form any kind of bond, but it's crucial that they form a bond, clearly.
But either she's left empty-handed emotionally in these scenes,
right,
or she's the waiter with 17 trays trying not to towel. Like the kids. Jake Lloyd only has 2 settings.
I feel bad for that kid. I know that Jake Lloyd had a kind of a rough life after this movie. I read an article.
Yes, and has not acted since.
Yeah, he got a lot of guff for this movie, I think, from his school friends.
Yep. I saw a video of him, an interview from his college years.
Okay.
And he was saying, it really has fucked up my life. I can't live it down. And everyone hates me.
I wonder how much money he got for this movie. It probably was not enough money.
No.
It's not like one of those things where, you hear Liam Neeson didn't enjoy making this movie. I'm like, yeah, well, he's fine. I mean, he made a nice salary from this movie,
I don't think he got enough, and I think...
Jake Lloyd was a kid. He's like 6 years old.
Yeah, I think Lucas and his...
He's very cute. He's got a nice look.
Oh, he's got a nice punum.
He's got a great little punum.
Great little punum.
It's true.
You can see how if George Lucas was casting solely based off of headshots, he'd get the role hands down.
He did cast, right? I mean, isn't that what's going on here? Because Shmi Skywalker, who Anakin's mother, is played by
whose mother? It sounds like
shut up. It's played by Pernilla August, and I read she's a Swedish actress. She had never done an English language performance before, and it shows. She's not bad in the movie, but
she's pretty solid. She's got the same kind of Neeson integrity.
Yeah, but she's giving a phonetic performance.
Yes.
It's like you can tell she does not really get the words that are coming out of her mouth. Like she doesn't have 100% of a handle on it.
Oh, she had a Jackie Chan in Rush Hour syndrome?
I don't know.
She didn't understand the words coming out of his mouth?
All right.
It would have gotten a bigger laugh if I said it immediately.
Yeah, you took a second, and then I was like, oh, right.
I hesitated. I was trying to figure out how to phrase it. I'm off my game today.
Not at all.
Well,
okay, so any more thoughts on just rewatching the film in general?
Yeah, it's really boring. It's a lot of information. I mean, I want to slice the bologna pretty thin because we got a couple more, months of this podcast to get through.
We got a lot.
So I don't want to cover everything, and we'll dig into this later. But I also think a problem with the movie is, as I said, my brain disengages as I'm watching it. So even watching it now for the whatever time, I was like, I still don't know if I totally understand what's going on in this film because every time I try to pay attention, it finds a way to push me away.
I agree. There's a lot of visual detail planted in this film that pays off later, but you don't notice it because you're too freaking bored.
Well, and last week we were focusing on just 9 minutes of the film, and then rewatching those 9 minutes this week, I realized how many things we got wrong in those 9 minutes.
We did?
We each watched the first 9 minutes of that film 5 times.
That sounds about right.
And still got some essential details
wrong. What did we get wrong?
We thought that TC-14 was sent in to kill them, but she was sent in to distract them while they were killed.
Yeah, I don't think we said kill them because the gas is the killing.
Right.
She's
but
not.
We thought she was in there to attack them, and so I don't know what was going on. I mean, it was weird.
Sounds like you're whacked out.
I'm so confused by this movie. I'm whacked out on goofballs. I'm whacked out on phantom balls.
I think Ben wanted to say something.
Well, the point I'll make is something I noticed is the throwback editing. Like the time lapse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was
wipes and all that.
It was almost nice to see.
Yeah.
So I actually really enjoyed that.
Yeah. It's part of the George Lucas charm, right? It's he loves the old serials and the all that stuff, right? That's all part of his directorial touch.
Yeah, and once again, credit where credit is due. I do think in terms of a cinematic grammar, it's a well-made film.
It's a perfectly decently made film. Yeah,
the action's more than decently well made.
I agree with you. Yeah.
I think
everything's telegraphed pretty clear, action-wise.
He does have these really kind of gorgeous classical compositions.
Yes,
even if I don't like every element within the frame,
right?
They're blocked really, really well.
Yeah,
the colors in the film are really, really nice. I love that it has actual locations in it. You know, the things that are shot in real locations where he has actors in costumes and makeup and things like that, they're all really nice looking. The shots with more CGI, they're give and take. I talked last week a little bit about how I like his use of silence, and I realized I didn't go into it deep enough. What I mean is there are a lot of scenes, big scenes, where he doesn't have score, there isn't dialogue, and you just hear sound effects.
Right.
With silence, the sound effects are immaculate.
Obviously.
And we're so used to in this day and age when blockbusters are these big, bombastic things.
And choppily edited things.
Choppily edited.
They're shooting around one imagines what was like a tight shooting schedule or, not enough budget for a certain visual effect. And any Marvel movie, I love those movies, but,
they're shot like TV shows. It's a lot of coverage and close-up, reverse close-up.
Exactly.
And this, if Lucas is cutting within a sequence, and he actually doesn't cut that much.
No.
He'll often
part of the wipes and all the old things Ben was just talking about. Yeah.
All them wipes. He'll cut from a wide shot to a different wide shot, a wide shot at a different angle. He's not cutting in from Qui-Gon to Obi-Wan, although he does when necessary. But a lot of times it'll be here's a wide shot from a different angle to convey a different piece of information.
Sure.
I like that.
I like it too.
There's a visual majesty to the film.
Yeah.
And I say that without any reservation.
To the city of Theed.
To the city of Theed.
Capital of Naboo.
Damn city of Theed. Okay, so let's talk about Naboo and our queen, Amidala, who is 14 years old.
She's 14? Is that official? Is that confirmed that she's 14 years old? No, you can talk. She is democratically elected. I will look up a little bit about the background of Amidala.
The problem with the Wikipedia, I was trying to figure out her age. They use their own year systems.
Of course, it's a BBY.
BBY.
Yeah,
so I don't know. I can't even do the math because I don't understand. She was born 46 BBY, and she was elected.
She was elected in 33 BBY.
So she was 13 years old.
Okay, so but this movie is it's somewhere, she could be 13, 14 years old.
Let's say she's 14.
Fine.
A Portman's dozen.
Oh, yeah, exactly. A Portman dozen. Yes, perfect. Nice big bag of bagels.
So she's a freshman in high school.
That's right. That's right.
Well, she would have been, but she had to drop out to be the democratically elected queen
right, exactly.
of a planet.
Now, you see, I'll admit, going into this podcast, I thought that the queen was always that. That it was just, that's how Naboo worked. They just elected teenage girls to be their queens for some reason.
Okay.
But according to the Star Wars, the Wikipedia, she actually brought down a fairly unpopular king.
Yes.
And sort of began a democratic tradition on the planet. So this is all very new in Naboo. But none of this is mentioned in the movie.
She wasn't the youngest. It also says that here. God, I can't find it.
She joined the apprentice legislature at 8, became a full legislator at 11. Yeah. And then she became Princess of Theed and rallied those against the rule of King Ars Veruna and brought him down.
Here's the thing I want to talk about. Where is it here?
Yeah, but you're right. It says she was not the youngest queen ever elected. It doesn't say who was. But
this is the interesting section of the podcast where we just read a Wikipedia
app. Yeah, let's do this for a while.
The Legislative Youth Program. Okay, this has its own Wikipedia.
This might be a good thing. Maybe Naboo has it figured out. Maybe if our kids were getting civic engagement at a younger age, then this country wouldn't be in the goddamn turlet.
I agreed. The Legislative Youth Program was a galaxy-wide organization devoted to the education of youths from across the stars interested in entering public service.
Oof.
That's kind of an interesting concept.
Sounds like it's for nerds.
Well, yeah, it does sound like it's for nerdlingers and herds.
Starfighter.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to be a starfighter.
Okay, so it's galaxy-wide. All right. Well,
it's galaxy-wide. That's why they send kids if kids think they want to go into public service.
Well, but it just sounds like in Naboo it all happens fast. It's like, you're 14? How do you feel about running a planet?
Yeah.
Now, let's remember this. like in all science fiction, and it always bothers me, everything on Star Wars is planets. Mm-hmm. It's like, this is a planet, right? You know, maybe it could have more than one country. In fact, it kind of does. It kind of does have two countries, right? Because it has the Gungans, which will sort of...
Sure, yes.
But I mean, it's basically one person is in charge of a whole planet, and every planet is like that. Naboo's like a nice grassy planet, and then there's a volcano planet, and then there's an ice planet.
We only ever really see one small section of each planet.
Right, and we're just sort of made to assume like, yeah, well, that's just like, that one is like a hot planet, and that one's a cold planet, and... You know, planets tend to be diverse, especially when they can sustain life. But, you know, whatever.
Agreed. There's a moment in the film when they land on the planet of Coruscant, when they're circling it.
Coruscant.
And they look out the window.
Which is one of the cooler concepts.
Sure.
In the movie. Yeah.
And Qui-Gon, I believe, says to Anakin, look, it's Coruscant. This entire planet is one city.
Right.
And it's like, well, no, it's not.
No, it's a planet.
It's a planet.
Yeah.
You could say the entire planet is structured like a city.
Yeah, it's covered in skyscrapers or whatever.
There is no part of this planet that is not city-like.
Right.
But by definition...
Yeah, it's a planet. It's not a city. A city's like a totally ridiculous concept for them. It's like a tiny, minuscule thing.
Right. This is just a big building city. A big building planet, rather.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah, if Naboo is a nice old Tuscan planet, and you know, I don't know, Tatooine is a desert planet, Coruscant's just a building planet. It's just Midtown. It's just what if Midtown was the whole planet?
Yeah,
and cars flew in the air.
Right.
Those are the two things.
Could you imagine?
That's the two things that it has.
Did anyone else think about how the traffic works?
Clearly, there's a lot going on because the cars are going like...
Yeah, this is why we don't have flying cars. I honestly believe we have the technology, and the government of every country has gotten together and just decided we're not going to do it because they don't want to regulate it.
No.
Let's not even try.
Exactly.
That technology exists. If we wanted to be flying, we could be flying.
Right now.
Right. Yeah. But could you imagine living in Coruscant and being like, hey, do you know a good place to get my shoes repaired here?
Yeah, it's on the other continent. Yeah.
It's in Coruscant. It's like, what? We're in Coruscant right now. It's a great... No, I'm sorry, Coruscant the city. It's like, that might be in Africa away.
That's exactly right? Yeah, exactly. It's, it's
50 million blocks away. City of Coruscant.
Well, it's one giant city.
It's one giant city.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, do you live, like, how bad is your commute there? Is it like you're like, oh, shit, you know, I live 4,000 miles from my office. It takes me 2 days to get to the office.
I'd love it if Coruscant had, like, a president... but also a mayor.
Yeah, right. And they are equally powerful.
And they just argue over who.
Yeah. But Coruscant is one city, so I'm the mayor.
But technically I'm the president of the whole country. A guy comes and he goes, well, I'm the ruler of the planets. And it's like, we all have the same job.
The Jedi are there. Like, they seem like they need to chill out. Like, they want to be in such a busy place with all the honking horns.
Yeah.
You know, why aren't they on some nice peace planet? You know, some sort of, like, chilled out planet.
Yeah, it's like if the Dalai Lama lived in Hell's Kitchen.
Or the Pope.
Yeah, sure.
He kind of does live in Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But anyway, we're talking about...
He lives in the kitchens of hell.
Oh, boy. This is getting political.
Not in Hell's Kitchen.
No. So we're talking about Naboo, though. And Naboo as a planet is... Its status is it's the most gorgeous place in the world, right?
Yeah, it all looks like one expensive like retreat in Tuscany.
Exactly. It's like a rehab clinic. It's like the whole planet was marble, and then some people were born.
Yeah.
It's promises, right?
Yeah.
And the people were born, and they just carved buildings out of the marble. But the whole planet is marble and trees and waterfalls.
Yeah.
That's like what you see.
And
it's
everyone's
gorgeous.
Fashion game is on point.
Everyone is wearing 8 costumes at once.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
Yeah.
It's crazy the clothes they wear. And it's great. I like that. And no one ever says, what I love also is that no one ever says, like Qui-Gon, and I feel like almost any other movie would have some tossed off line where Obi-Wan is like, she's wearing the fucking craziest dress I ever saw. Like, right? Some snarky line might be tossed in if this were a Marvel movie, but no one says like, hey, lady, like, why are you wearing all that? Like, you need to walk around right now.
Well, and I think this is a dangerous path because, we talk about this too much. We could get into like very hacky, like 90s Comedy Central make me laugh style routines about Padme's
This sounds great.
outfits.
Let's do 20 minutes of that.
But it also is like...
No, okay. I love her outfits.
Oh, me
too.
They look incredible.
Love the makeup.
But thinking about them practically, right?
Yeah.
Most countries in which the royalty or the appointed elected officials have some sort of uniform. This is the royal garb that you wear. It is just that. It is one uniform.
Yeah, and you wear it like on special occasions, like, once a year maybe, or when you're being crowned, that kind of stuff. Like the Queen of England doesn't walk around in her friggin', crown jewels.
And there is a decorum for how she's going to dress on a daily basis. There's a decorum for how she's going to dress at a royal ball or whatever it is.
Wear nice clothes, but nothing crazy.
It's just dress. Like every fucking week, every fucking day, she's got to put on a whole different crazy thing. And it's not just a very complicated dress, but it's the accoutrements, it's the hair, it's the makeup.
And let's not forget, her planet is being blockaded.
Yeah.
Her people are dying. She says it over and over again.
Amidala, the meeting is beginning any minute now.
Oh, let me put a cubic ton of hair on, like around my head.
Okay, how long do you think that's going to take? Is it a wig or is it...
I don't even know what it is. It's literally like some sort of like giant, large hadron collider of hair that's just arced around my face.
It just looks like she's spending like 3 hours in the hair and makeup truck every morning before they have to meet.
I would legitimately love to ask Natalie Portman what it was like to wear those costumes because they are so incredible, and I'm sure she has sort of a fond memory of looking like that.
She's 14. She got to dress up. Got paid money.
But it must have been really crazy to walk around in that stuff.
I think she probably couldn't very well.
Yeah. She's sitting in chairs a lot.
A lot of sitting.
Yeah. Big chairs.
A lot of leaning.
Like, big, huge chairs.
Big fucking chairs.
So let's delve into this.
The logic of the film, either she is taking hours to prepare for each meeting.
Right.
In which case, she's delaying every meeting.
Sure, or maybe she just doesn't sleep.
Her citizens are dying.
Maybe Nubians don't sleep.
Okay, or she doesn't sleep, in which case, you're telling me we got a government official, you're telling me we have someone running this entire planet, and they're operating on, 4 or 5 hours of sleep at best? She has to cut into her sleep?
She is a kid, though. Maybe that's it.
So her hair can look tight?
Because like a 14-year-old can take a lot of no sleep. When I was 14, I'd sleep like 4 hours and I'd be running around. Maybe that's the reason.
It depends when puberty kicks in. I will say Natalie Portman, a svelter.
The actress was older than 14. Natalie Portman was older. I think maybe not actually. Yeah.
Look, the movie was 16 years ago. Natalie Portman's probably 30, right?
Yeah, something like that. 32.
I think she was like 14.
She might have been. Yeah.
But here's the big thing we need to talk about. For most of the movie, Natalie Portman, Academy Award winner Natalie Portman.
She hadn't won an Academy Award yet, let's be honest.
She had not won yet.
No, but yes, now Academy Award winner.
Now Academy Award winner Natalie Portman is not playing Queen Amidala.
It's true. She's not. She's not playing Queen Amidala.
Most
half the scenes. And maybe not most, but half at least.
I went through.
Griffin is taking out a book in which he has written things.
Beginning of the film.
Yeah.
You see her on the screen. She's talking to the Neimoidians.
Yeah.
It is Natalie Portman.
That's her, yes.
Then they cut down to Naboo. She's meeting with Sal Bibble, Captain Panaka, our bros, our favorite folk.
Sal Bibble, just to explain, he's the guy with the sort of long, pointy beard. He's played by renowned Shakespearean British actor Oliver Ford Davis. I do not know what his position is.
I don't either. He seems like an aide.
He's just chief griper. He's just the one who's always like
Queen Amidala.
Yeah, he's like, wow, everything's terrible. We're all dying. Like he doesn't seem to understand that like she maybe doesn't need to hear it again.
And also doesn't seem to do shit about it himself. Just wants to complain to other people.
All he is spending way too much time making that beard come to like the finest point. No, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Do you know when someone complains about something you do, but it's someone you don't like, so you start doing it more just because you love seeing them get upset?
Absolutely.
Consciously or unconsciously?
Ooh, I see. You have a theory?
Maybe that's why Amidala's dresses are that crazy.
Right.
Because
maybe one day, he was just like, hey, it's a crisis. Maybe tone it down.
It started with her just being like, look, I'm a little tired. Let me put on a little like concealer. I got some zits.
Yeah, let me paint one half of my lips red and one half white, but with a little red line and 2 red dots.
I'm saying even an earlier start than that, right?
Okay, all right,
her
sure.
first day in office.
She was just putting a little makeup on.
She had a bunch of zits. She had a breakout. She put on some concealer. She wanted to straighten her hair because she went to sleep with wet hair because she didn't have time to wait for it to dry because she was on a limited schedule.
Trade blockade.
Goes to sleep with wet hair. Wakes up, has a breakout. Her hair is a mess.
Yeah.
She's straightening it. He comes in. He goes, Queen Amidala. She's just like, this fucking guy.
He's pointy-eared asshole. Pointy-haired, even. He might have pointy ears.
He's probably got pointy ears. You can't see it underneath his pointy hair.
This Shakespeare motherfucker.
Okay, so we'll be out in a second.
Yeah,
okay.
and then she was like, all right.
Day 2, let's do the lips.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's do one lip.
Let's do one lip red, one lip white.
Just
a
a
little
piss
red
him off.
line.
Wait, it took you that long? You didn't even finish the lipstick? And she's like, oh no, this is a style.
Yeah, this is a thing I'm doing.
This is my thing.
Now, there's no public tension between them, but she definitely does not seem close to Sio Bibble, is all I'm going to say. Now, there's also Captain Panaka, who you mentioned.
I love.
Great actor.
Cool guy.
Cool guy. He's wearing a cool leather uniform with a kind of a 30s kind of hat thing going on. Like, he's got this sort of old school hat. I got to admit, not the greatest leader of a military body you've ever seen, because he just exists to say over and over again, we don't have an army. He just says that over and over. We can't fight a war. We don't have an army.
I will say this. In terms of actions, yes, maybe he's not the best leader. Maybe he's not the best captain. In terms of attitude, he is. Because even when he's saying fatalistic things...
Very calm under pressure.
He's very calm under pressure, and there's something very authoritative about him.
I agree with that.
Where it's just like, I told you, we don't have an army.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, then I guess we shouldn't even argue about it anymore.
Yeah, and sometimes Amidala's like, hey, let me do this crazy thing. He's like, is that a good idea? But he doesn't mess with it. He's like, all right.
He's got real steady hands.
My brother was...
Captain Panaka for Halloween.
No, that'd be great. My brother was, I think, maybe your age, maybe a little younger, maybe 9 when the movie came out. He called him Captain Pancake. Just wanted to get that out there. Anyway.
Okay, so that is all Queen Amidala. That is all Padme herself.
Yeah, early scenes, Queen Amidala.
Yeah, who, by the way, looking at her Wikipedia, Amidala is a name given to her as a leader.
Name, yes. It's like how the Japanese emperor has an emperor name. Right. And a real name.
So Padme was her real name. Her last name was something else I'm not going to look up because we already spent enough time.
I think it's Nabire.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. Padme Nabire. Then she got Amidala. She carried it with her after that. First scene is Padme.
Yeah.
Through to meeting with Bibble. Then we go to scene 2 where the Nemoidians are on Naboo.
Okay, right. Yeah, they staged their invasion.
Right.
Yeah.
But when they're first just talking to them, not Natalie Portman.
Nope.
It is future Academy Award nominee, 2-time Academy Award nominee.
That's right.
Keira Knightley. Playing a character called Sabe.
That's right.
She is a decoy.
And honestly, the last time I watched the movie, like a couple days ago, may have been the first time I realized that early on.
Yep.
That's Keira Knightley.
Second appearance on screen, it's Keira Knightley.
It helps that we now know who Keira Knightley is and what she looks like. Mm-hmm. And they're similar to, obviously the makeup is similar, the hair is similar, but she looks different than Natalie Portman.
There's another really clear key to figuring out whether or not Natalie Portman is playing Queen Amidala in any scene.
Which is?
Figure out if the character standing next to Queen Amidala is Natalie Portman.
Right. Because that is what's going on here.
Yep.
At a basic level.
Yep.
Sometimes she won't be the queen. She'll play a handmaiden.
Whose name is Padme. Which everyone knows is the given birth name of their queen.
I guess so. It's never discussed, but you're right?
Right? This is the big realization
but
I had last night.
But the Nemoidians don't know that shit. I mean, maybe they have a Wikipedia that they can look at, though. I don't know.
But it's weird in that maybe not everyone knows it, but it's common enough knowledge that you think they'd be like, yo, just call yourself Stacy.
Right. But I mean, to be fair, she's not walking around like, hi, I'm Padme the handmaiden. Like,
sure.
she's just chilling next to what looks like the queen, but is actually just one of her handmaidens done up like the queen.
She is just chilling, but when people ask her, like, hey, what's your name? She'd be like, oh, who, me? Padme.
She might be like, look over there, and run away.
Yeah. But when little Annie asks her...
Yeah, but he's just a worthless slave.
Saying, if the whole idea is that she's under enough threat...
It's Watto notes, like, the slave actually has a lot of work.
The slave is here.
Oh, boy.
We'll get to Watto. My favorite character. But if the whole idea is that she is under enough constant threat that they need to have a decoy...
Yeah.
But have her stand there all the time. Just give her a different fucking name.
No, I agree with you, but I do think the general concept is clever. Like, they're not hiding her. They're just sort of mixing them all around so much that the viewer literally does not usually know who she is.
Except I had, maybe stupidly, in the past thought that it was a rotating panel of handmaids.
But no, it just seems like it's Keira Knightley or Natalie Portman.
Yep. Yeah. I always thought that it was like there were 6 decoys.
I think that maybe possibly that is the case, but Lucas just kept it simple in this movie. But I'm not
sure.
But you're right. In this movie, that is how it works.
Well, looking at Wikipedia, they have the list of the handmaidens, and I read most of the entries.
One of them is played by Sofia Coppola.
A future Academy Award winner.
That's right. So
within the group of Amidala, first screen credit.
First screenplay. No.
For screenplay.
No, her first screen credit is Godfather 3, right?
No, her first screen credit, if I'm not mistaken, is The Godfather Part 2.
Oh, is she in 2? All right. I know she's in 1. She's the baby.
Yeah. But she's also in Peggy Sue Got Married. And
right. All right, Sophia.
Whatever.
I think she said, like, she just wanted to be in the movie to watch it.
She was about to do Virgin Suicides, and she thought it'd be interesting to watch Uncle George work.
Yeah.
In her words.
Hey, man. I get it. I'd play a handmaiden right now.
Oh, me too. Oh God!
Throw that little hood on.
Oh God!
They're wearing these very modest little hoods. The handmaidens.
They look so adorable.
They do. It's a good setup.
Can I read you the list of all their names? I don't know if you've read the list of all the names before.
Please, never allowed.
Okay. Once again, this group contains 3 future Academy Award winners / nominees.
Right.
So a prodigious group.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have Amidala, Padme. Then the handmaidens are as follows: Sabe, Irite, Rabe, Sashay, Yane, Faye, and parentheses in training, Danae.
Ooh.
Danae appears to be extended universe.
She's not. She's not part of the film. Okay.
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah, whatever. I think there's 6 of them. You don't see a ton of them. There's really only one scene where the handmaiden seems to do anything, which is when Padme is playing a handmaiden, and she sort of leans over and talks to her for a second.
Now, I want to just talk about Irite for a second.
Okay.
Irite was brought up as a wealthy girl in a remote river valley of Naboo. She was the only applicant for the Queen's handmaidens who had blonde hair and blue eyes. In contrast to Amidala's brown hair and brown eyes, she was sometimes known as the blonde handmaiden. Once again, this is official Lucas
it is the
canon backstory to these characters, right?
Yeah.
All that is fine. You would assume if you clicked on any of the handmaidens, you get that much information.
Right.
Oh, she grew up in this small town.
Yeah, blah, blah,
this is her hair color, this and that. Wait a second. Irite had also taken the same examinations as Amidala to run for the position of queen, but lost the election to Amidala. Wait a second.
She's a handmaiden? Maybe like just give her a different job.
She's close to being queen?
Yeah. She's combing her hair every day?
Imagine if the runner-up for president...
Mitt Romney. What if Mitt Romney was the butler?
Had to be Secret Service.
Secret Service.
Even more than the butler, the Secret Service, because in reading the full Handmaiden Wikipedia entry, they make it very clear that the handmaidens are trained to know that they might have to give their life to protect the queen.
Right, they're like bodyguards.
They really are like bodyguards. Yeah. They're like Secret Service. The decoy thing is the same thing.
They're trained in Captain Panaka gives them, I don't know, a couple of weeks down at the shooting range or something. Like they're trained in guns and stuff.
Oh yeah, and like kung fu and all that shit.
I don't think they're trained in kung fu.
They're definitely trained in kung fu. But like, why is Sabe having to dress up like Queen Amidala so that if someone takes out a gun and shoots her, they won't have shot the queen?
Right.
She knows your deal is, hey, upside, you get to wear some pretty tight dresses. Downside, you're almost definitely going to get shot in the face. At some point.
Especially if there happens to be a blockade. And also, like, this is the first queen of the country.
Right.
It's like, this is a new thing. It's all new. It's a very volatile situation.
So the queen of the country, anyone apparently over the age of 7 can run. But if you lose, you have to be on security detail for the person who won and maybe die protecting their position.
I had no idea. I mean, maybe she wanted to. Maybe that was how deep her sense of civic duty ran. This is what I'm saying.
Irite and the other handmaidens were trained in self-defense and marksmanship by Amidala's head security, Captain Panaka. We know all of that.
Sure.
She particularly excelled in dealing with protocol and spotting treachery. Fine. However, she was less skilled in martial arts than the other handmaidens.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
But you were right. Kung fu.
Thank you.
Yeah, she sounds bad. 1, she doesn't look like her. 2, she is a former political rival. 3, she does not know kung fu.
As well.
Okay, I know what she's good at spotting treachery. Great. Sio Bibble's sitting right over there. I don't know.
I'd like to read a quote that's on Arate's. This episode's all about Arate.
Oh, boy.
Arate's Wikipedia, there's a quote from an issue of the Star Wars Clone Wars comic book.
Sure.
Skywalker. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's Amidala's decoys, Sabe and Arate. Arate. Actually, I'm Arate, Sabe, and I'm Sabe. Attributed to Anakin Skywalker, unable to distinguish between Sabe and Arate.
Griffin, I'm not sure that was worth the seeming 40 minutes it took.
I think it was. This is why I want to talk about it.
Okay. Wait, is there more?
Yeah, no,
okay,
I want to talk about it. Arate, who has no dialogue in the film.
And also has blonde hair and blue eyes.
Yep, and also lost the election for queen.
Right.
Because apparently she wasn't good enough at martial arts.
Yeah, right.
Has no dialogue in the film. Whoever was assigned to write this officially sanctioned Wikipedia entry for Arate, which, by the way, has 12 different sections on it. Like 12 different pull-down sections, okay? Felt the need to, under the section later career, include a dialogue exchange to try to flesh out our understanding of the character more.
You're not even getting to the main thing, which is apparently Skywalker can't tell the difference between a woman with brown hair and one with blonde hair. What is going on?
This isn't even, he can't tell the difference between Sabe and Padme. He can't tell the difference between Sabe and Arate. Everyone knows what Arate looks like.
Exactly. Who played her in the film, by the way?
Oh, God, let's find out. That's a separate section. Behind the scenes.
Yeah, I always hate that. They the whole Wikipedia entry acts like it's a real person, and then at the end they're like, oh, it's played by some jerk-off.
David, I am so happy that you asked me.
Who played Arate?
Because her name is...
Lily Tomlin.
Friday. Quote, Liz, unquote, Wilson.
Wow.
Friday Liz Wilson.
She was like Liz Wilson, and then she was like, you know what? I need a more exotic name.
No, her name was Friday Wilson, and then she was like, I should have the option of having a more normal name, and then put Liz in quotes. Her name is Friday. Liz is the nickname.
Friday Liz Wilson. There she is. She kind of looks like Starbuck from Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Friday Liz Wilson. They also make it clear here in the children's book, Queen Disguise, Arate's hair was erroneously colored brown, while in the comic story in Triplicate, her name was misspelled Arate. So here's the misspelling.
Nobody's perfect.
The proper spelling is E-I-R-T-A-E accent grave. And the misspelling is E-R-I-T-A-E accent grave.
All right. Yeah, there's a lot of accents. Padme, Sabe, it's all accent.
It's all accent. Yeah. Sashay.
Yeah. Sashay is lazy. That is, and the one that's just Faye.
Yeah, Sashay played by Sofia Coppola.
Oh, Sashay is Sofia Coppola. Yeah. She doesn't do anything in the movie, as far as I know.
No. Her bio is the shortest, and the biggest info within it, the biggest scoop within it is, of all the handmaidens, Sashay was the only one not to attend the celebration parade.
She probably had, like, diarrhea or something.
Or she was just, like...
She was like,
George, I don't want to film this movie.
You're right. She was like, George, I'm about to go become like a way more accomplished filmmaker than you.
I got a heart out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, even though she was President Qui-Gon Jinn's funeral, so fair weathered friend.
Well, that's good. That's good. She, that's the important. You want to be there. Spoiler alert, by the way. Qui-Gon Jinn dies in this film.
Bites it real hard.
Yeah. He takes a lightsaber to the chest hole.
What's the opposite of a fair-weathered friend? Because she wasn't there at the celebration.
She's
she was
sort
there
of
at
like,
the funeral.
she's there when you need her, right? I don't know what you call that.
She only is there when it's a bummer of an event.
Well, no, but that's when, like, the celebration, who cares, right?
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah,
There's
I
a
agree.
million people there.
When things are going well, it's an embarrassment of riches, friend-wise. You don't need anybody. Okay, so when they land on Naboo, it's Sabe.
Right.
That's when the escape is orchestrated.
Yes, that's when
the Jedi's attack.
That's when, for some reason, is it 2 or do all 6 escape? God, I just watched this movie.
I watched this 8 hours ago and I couldn't tell you.
who so in the plot of the film,
who escapes onto the ship?
Just to briefly recap the film.
The
Neimoidians,
the Royal Starship.
Yeah, the Neimoidians invade Naboo.
Yeah,
with their droid armies, their droid
battle droids.
their droid ships and everything. They take the palace because there's no army on Naboo. And then somehow the Jedi sneak out the queen.
Qui-Gon, Anakin, Anakin. Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, all the handmaidens, Padme, Captain Tanaka.
Panaka.
That's what I said.
I thought you said Tanaka.
No, Captain Pancake.
It was Tanaka.
I didn't say Tanaka.
They sneak all those guys out. Not Sio Bibble. Clearly Amidala was like, don't bring that motherfucker.
He's there.
He stays back.
Yeah. Get him on the ship. Throughout all of that, it's Sabe.
But Padme is with him. It's just Sabe is being the queen.
But the question I'm trying to answer is...
No, I understand. I know. Yeah. Anyway,
so what scenes is Padme playing the queen?
They get on an ostentatious silver spaceship.
And you thought TC-14's tea tray was shiny.
This is... Naboo, by the way, very clearly, ostentatiousness is like the name of the game there, right? Everyone's wearing crazy clothes.
Yeah.
Every palace is the size of a freaking, I don't know, tower. I don't know. They're big.
And trying to answer our question, is this what this fucking movie is about? Is this George Lucas's version of like rules of the game where he's like trying to show a culture of decadence, of overprivilege for its wealthy upper class that needs to crumble?
Yeah, is this a situation where the old ways just simply cannot maintain anymore?
Exactly.
This is actually a great point because the Trade Federation represents kind of the lowest. There's sort of a cut rate thing, right? Like they got these chintzy battle droids to do their fighting for them.
Sure.
They got these lame donut ships.
Yeah.
And they were walking around. And Naboo is the opposite. It's this burnished sort of like upper crust, peaceful, leave us alone. What? Like, the Captain Panaka with his leather jodhpurs and his little hat. And, I'm going to do 8 costume changes in one day. Like, maybe... And their silver ship. Maybe this is something that cannot.
Girls shouldn't be running countries.
Yeah, that's how good things have gotten. That they're just like, yeah, whatever.
Who cares?
Let the 14-year-old do it for a while.
She's cute.
Yeah, she looks great. Just throw her up on the throne.
Because there's a weird kind of mixed message to it. Where on one hand, it feels like a very, very paranoid film. Where George Lucas, a man with an incredible amount of money...
who lives in a secret ranch, basically, in the middle of the mountains.
...is afraid of a government meddling with its people, trying to control them, trying to take things away from them, not let them sell products or buy products, right? On one hand, that feels like that's the case.
Sure.
But on the other hand, it does feel a little bit like, this sort of the classic American story of crime and capitalism being close bedfellows... and how other countries had these sort of traditions of, you were born into privilege. It was about your bloodline. It was about your socioeconomic class, your family, where it had been. You could only grow so much out of what you were born into.
Sure.
Whereas in America, you could swindle your way to whatever you wanted to be. You work hard enough, you're cutthroat enough, you make enough money, that's royalty.
So where are you taking this? You're just like rich people?
Well, the Phantom Menace in the film is the dismantling of
the aristocracy.
The aristocracy of the proper government.
Yeah.
We're going to get to a point where it's just chaos.
And it's like a gloopy government. It's a government that doesn't really function anymore. Right. The Senate is just sort of mired in discussion all the time.
Right.
The Jedis are the one thing that doesn't have an analog. Because the way they behave in this movie, they're like the freaking Vatican. Like they're these
that's what
like
I was
monks,
say.
right?
That's what I was going to say. They're like the Vatican. They're
But like you have to pass a blood test to be a Jedi. That's the weird part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later, I feel like.
Yeah, I think Jedi Council is its own episode.
Oh, my. What is happening in there? Where do they poop? Anyway, we'll get
to
that.
In the chairs.
That's what I'm thinking,
They all
right?
sit in those big chairs.
Like, in the Jedi Council, he just leaves and they're just still sitting there. Do they all just sit there looking at each other all day? Like, they don't even have computers or anything to look at. Are they just sitting there?
Of course. They have
just
those big comfy
blissed
chairs.
out on Molly? Is that what they're doing?
They're not just sitting there. They're pooping. They're laying solid foundation.
That's the highest level of Jedi. It's just constant pooping.
Here's a fact: they never stand up in the film.
No, they do not.
You see them all seated the whole time, but the action figures came with the chairs. And if you looked in the chair, there was a hole for poo-poo.
All right. So back to Padme. You had your list. I want to finish off your list.
On the ship, they start strategizing. It's still Sabe.
Keira Knightley is in the chair.
Now, across these last two scenes, when the Neimoidians are there, when she's talking to Sio Bibble, when they're on the ship, strategizing with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, what are we going to do? Sabe is making all the decisions. They're going, Queen, how do you think we should act? And she's just speaking confidently. Do they know what question she's going to be asked? Are they training her in advance? Is power being transferred over to Sabe as long as she's the decoy? There's one moment where they ask her a question. I don't remember what it was. I'm sorry I didn't write it down. I apologize. Okay. I'm trying my hardest here. But they ask her a question, and she sort of glances over to Padme, and Padme gives her a knowing look, and then she's like, that won't be necessary, or whatever she says.
I was going to say, there does seem to be a little bit of rapport.
There's one moment.
Yeah.
But other than that, Padme's just standing there silently while someone else
runs the country.
Issues, royal decrees.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, so then they go, we got to land, there's the attack, their hyperdrive gets blasted, they send R2-D2 out to fix it, but it's still fried. Which brings me to my very, very brief merchandise sidebar of the week. America's favorite segment.
Yeah, I love
Griff's merchandise sidebar.
I'm excited.
This is how extreme the excitement was around Phantom Menace and how confident they were that they could sell anything. There was a toy made. In addition to all the action figures, all the vehicles that they knew kids wanted, the Comtech chips, which everyone was crazy about.
Was there a hyperdrive?
There was a set called Hyperdrive Repair Kit. They were so confident in kids buying anything that in addition to the figures that came with accessories, they sold packs that were additional accessories. So it's like, here's the Naboo underwater creature accessory pack.
Sure. Right.
You get a few little Naboo creatures.
Yeah.
Here's additional battle droid weapons. And it was, you get a blister cart and it would just have guns on it. Usually you buy a figure, you get a gun. This was like, okay, distribute the guns. I'm going to show you guys here. We'll post this on whatever online thing we have soon, the Tumblr or the Twitter.
Yeah.
We're recording these episodes in advance of any of them being released, so we haven't figured these things out. But all of this will be visible somewhere, which we'll tell you later. But this is just a picture. It's just a hyperdrive on a package.
Okay, so yeah, it's basically a circle.
That's the panel that you remove to get into the inner wiring of the hyperdrive.
Right. Okay, and then there's some wrenches, a spanner.
It looks like a credit card is what it looks like, right? It's like a thick credit card. It's like a pack of playing cards, and it's got some detailing on it, and it's broken. The idea was that it's the burnt hyperdrive.
Right, and you screw in the sort of replacement part, right? Because there's another piece that fits into it.
Yeah. Well, it says 3 removable panels and 4 tools. So it comes with 4 very exciting tools, a wrench, something that looks like a meat cleaver.
They're all wrenches. It comes with 4 wrenches.
It comes with 4 different wrenches, space wrenches. And the idea was a lot of fun for kids. You get to take the panels on and off the hyperdrive.
Now, here's my question. Does this, if you bought the spaceship,
Great question,
does it fit into it?
Yes, it does.
Okay, well, that's pretty cool. And by pretty cool, I mean not cool. But that
was the idea, was that the spaceship came, I think, with the undamaged hyperdrive.
Okay.
And you had to separately buy the hyperdrive.
It's interesting. Like, if you just want to play act a hyperdrive crisis of some sort, you would need to buy that additional. Or, use your imagination. But why not buy that thing?
Maybe this is I can't tell which one this is. But it did fit into the ship. I know that much.
Yeah. Did you own that toy?
The hyperdrive repair? No, I wish I did.
Did you own the ship?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't. And I'll have you know, and I'm sure all of our listeners know this already. But in a 2003 list in the now canceled Toy Fair magazine, the Naboo Royal Starship was voted the #1 best Star Wars toy of all time.
Well, that seems a little high, but it's a very sleek, sexy ship.
It was a good toy. It was large. You could put Rick Olay in there.
That's the pilot
Yep.
of the Starship, who is one of the most infuriating characters of the whole movie, I think.
Good man.
I mean, we were complaining about exposition. He literally just delivers exposition.
Just tells them where they're about to land as if they didn't know where they were heading.
Exactly. And says things like, oh, we're going to need the hyperdrive to get by these guys.
Yeah, no shit, we're going to need a hyperdrive. Why don't you go to Toys R Us and buy one? They're selling them separately for fucking $10. Here's another thing. The hyperdrive repair kit was part of, a later wave of releases. They were like, we're going to keep on selling this merchandise.
It wasn't in the initial push?
They were like, this is when, fans were going to buy anything. So it's very, very limited. They're currently going for $50 online if you just want to buy the hyperdrive.
That is just outrageous.
Okay, so that's merchandise sidebar.
I like
that. They get on the Starship.
Yeah, they get on the Starship. Sabe is the queen.
They go, we're going to have to stop on Tatooine to get a new hyperdrive.
Right.
Even though you could just go to Toys R Us. And
I mean, I guess it's because they're in hyperdrive for a while and they have to drop out because it's broken.
Burns out. Yeah.
And so they just drop out near this shit desert planet run by the Hutts.
Right. But
not part of the Galactic Senate.
She goes, you got to take my handmaiden with you.
Right. And Qui-Gon...
Oh, I just want to interject before we go too far ahead. That scene where they introduce R2-D2 to the Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, they introduced R2-D2 to Sabe, the royal
decoy queen.
Of course.
Yeah.
And she says, clean the droid up.
Yeah.
Why did we have to see that?
Hey, man.
What is the point of that scene?
He's a dirty droid. Got to clean him up.
But once again, this is Sabe. She's not even the queen. That's what happens when you take just a girl who happens to look like the queen and give her all the power to say whatever she wants. It's a little like Dave. It's a little like the Ivan Reitman movie Dave.
Sure. Yeah.
In a country where anyone can become president, anyone just did.
Yeah.
President has a heart attack. They find a guy who looks exactly like the president. They go, just read the script, say what we're telling you to say. But he realizes that he has the power because anything he says in front of the camera will be, quote unquote, what the president said.
Exactly.
And maybe Sabe's
like, hey, I'm in charge for a bit. Let's clean some droids.
She's a neat freak.
Yeah, she's a total neat freak. That's the thing. They're all like, it's like grumpy.
Yeah.
And
Padme's shooting her the side eyes going, Sabe, stick to the script.
Let the fucking droid be dirty. Who cares?
She's going, if I got, first of all, let's get a handy wipe.
She says, nice to meet you, R2-D2.
Yeah, the whole thing is bizarre because it is funny. That's R2-D2. He just pops out of the I don't know, droid pocket on the ship.
Like he was a fucking lotto ball.
Yeah.
He just happened to be the guy.
There's like 4 others or 3 others, I think. They all get exploded.
All of them. They send them all up at the same time.
Right. R2 it fixes the hyperdrive
He's
a little
a good
bit.
droid.
Yeah, he's good. And he goes down there and they're like, oh, thanks, buddy. Do you really want to get to know him? You just lost 3 of them.
Yeah.
Like, maybe just put him back in the chamber.
Yeah.
The whole relationship with robots in this movie is...
So strange.
Yeah, very
So
strange.
strange.
It's not explored because, like, he has a personality.
Mm-hmm.
He clearly has one, and they're happy, and they clean him up. He can't clean himself. He doesn't have any arms.
Agreed. So maybe he's in cahoots with Sabe. Maybe he was talking to Sabe on the down low, and he was like...
He, like, winks his little eye light at her, and he's like, give me a fucking shower at the very least.
Bitch, let's get on the level.
He's like, I know you ain't the queen.
My ass is stinky.
I'm a computer.
I need to be cleaned and stat. My ass is stinky. That's what R2-D2 says to
That's
Sabe.
what he says. That's
He
what he
goes,
says to
my
Sabe.
ass is stinky.
Yeah.
And so she's like, don't worry. Next time I'm in the chair,
Right. Yeah.
Panaka's there.
Because Sabe likes to check in with the droids in their little droid container.
Well, she also likes to fuck droids. That's
We
the
haven't
problem
even-
with Sabe. They're trying to keep her on a short leash.
That's not even on the Wikipedia.
That's not on the Wikipedia. That's on the
deep.
Griffopedia.
It's exclusive.
This is exclusive.
That's exclusive. Scoop. All right. So on the
They land on
planet,
Tatooine. It's all Padme.
yeah, Padme goes with them. Qui-Gon, by the way, renowned Jedi Master, at no point seems aware of this deception.
No one does.
He's like, I gotta bring a fucking maid. Why?
No one seems
is
aware.
like, huh? Are you the queen? Do you
Hey.
look like the queen?
You, that girl who works for the queen, who has the exact same first name as the queen and has the face of the queen.
And also, I'm a Jedi and I have mental powers.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Are
can
you the
see
queen?
what's going to happen. Hey, Qui-Gon, why don't you look about 30 pages ahead in this script?
You're gonna get a lightsaber in the chest.
Yeah.
You dumb dickwad.
You dumb dickwad. You big dick dummy.
Oh boy.
Producer Ben has one last interjection.
Okay.
I just want to also point out they steal Spaceballs joke.
They do?
They do.
What's the Spaceballs joke?
And tell me if I'm wrong.
No, sure.
But at one point when they're discussing the hyperdrive, the equipment, they mention the fact, yeah, well, we've got a bunch of the Queen's clothes.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, that's
they
true.
do
They
say that.
steal a joke from Spaceballs.
And I'll say, actually, now that you point out, there is that scene during the Duel of Fates, that moment during the Duel of Fates fight when they cut Darth Maul's lightsaber in half, and then his penis turns into another lightsaber. That also felt like it was stolen from Spaceballs. Is when his pee-pee turns into a laser sword.
I was outraged when I saw that one in particular.
It's just
also-
blatant theft.
It's worth noting that they're like, geez, we got a bunch of her fucking clothes. We managed to smuggle those on this ship somehow. Like,
Yeah.
why are they bringing her clothes?
It was a last-second escape.
No one else in this movie ever changes their clothes.
It wasn't a planned escape. They were
I don't
just
see
walking.
we
The
don't see
droids
those
came.
trunks.
No. The
Yeah.
Jedi's attacked. They were just like, what ship can we get on? We got to get out of here right now because it's
And
infested
it's
with
just like
droids.
just 1 second.
wait 1 second.
and just has 8 wheelie bags.
Yeah.
And she gets on there.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just every royal ship just has a bunch of clothes preloaded in case she needs to make several costume changes during a space flight.
Maybe because they all have those big flowing robes with those hoods and you can't even see their arms. They just sort of look like little teepees.
Right.
Maybe underneath each of them is constantly carrying 2 trunks worth of clothes. Sachet, verite.
Verite. That's not one of them, is it?
I don't know. Anything can be a name.
All right. Padme, Queen of the Naboo,
is just on Tatooine, chilling with some folks.
Goes onto a gangster planet.
Yep.
Chills out in the sand, meets a slave. You know, I think we'll do more on Tatooine later.
Sexual chemistry
with a 6-year-old boy or 8, maybe, I don't know.
Once again, its own episode. Let's not get into it.
We'll do all that stuff
right now.
And then she gets back on the space plane, on the old spaceship.
Still Sabe.
Still Sabe is the queen.
They have Anakin with them. There are scenes back there where they introduce Anakin to Obi-Wan. Still Sabe, right?
Yep.
Then they get to Coruscant.
That's right. I forgot about this. Right.
When they get off the planet Coruscant, it's once again...
It's Amidala is back in the Ragnals. Yes, it's true because she goes to the Galactic Senate. She meets with with Senator Palpatine, who's
Chancellor
Naboo's
Valorum.
Senator. Yeah, she meets Chancellor Valorum. She goes to the Senate. She does the vote of no confidence. She does a whole scene in the Senate. That's all Natalie Portman.
Portman.
You know, made to die in a committee. Like she's back to the weird voice.
When they present. When they're getting ready to present Anakin to the Jedi
wearing
Council.
a clothes hanger under, right? She has these like pointy shoulders. It's very strange.
When they're getting ready to present Anakin to the Jedi Council, he comes in, sneaks into a room, probably hoping to see some titties.
Yeah. Well,
because he's like, oh, is something going on here? They're dressing Queen Amidala, who is now Natalie Portman.
Right.
And he goes, hey, is Padme here? And she's like, no, I'm sorry. Padme is not here presently, in her weird stilted voice.
Right.
And he's like, well, probably going to go away for the rest of my life now. So can you just tell her to say goodbye?
And he just murders these lines. Yeah, it's so good.
And she's like, I'll make sure she hears it. And once again, he doesn't realize that, like, oh, that's weird. Why is Padme not here? Her one job is to constantly be next to the queen.
Right.
Also, why is there some other girl I haven't seen before? And why is the girl I'm talking to look and sound like Padme? None of that, right?
It's true. No one during the movie ever says, like, what's up with that? What's up with whatever.
But this is
a
bigger point I'm building up to. The denouement of this episode, if you will.
Absolutely.
Okay, so all of that, right?
Yeah.
She does her Coruscant business.
Does Coruscant.
Then they get back on the
ship.
ship.
She's like, I'm going back to Naboo. And
I'm going
back to Naboo.
Right. Once again, Sabe.
Right. She's Sabe again.
Once she gets back on the ship, it's Sabe. Yeah. Once they get to Naboo, it's Sabe.
It's weird that it's Sabe on the ship where she's under the least threat.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird that that's when she does it.
Yep.
Well, whatever.
Okay, so now it's Sabe. They land back on Naboo. It's Sabe.
Yep.
Talking to Sio Bibble. It's Sabe.
Yep.
Meeting with the Gungans. It's Sabe. Wait a second. Negotiations are moving along fine. She's trying to get the Gungans to decide to fight for them because the Panakas made clear they don't have an army.
By the way, they land on Naboo. And they're like, where are the Gungans? And Jar Jar's like, oh, I know, over there. And they just like walk and just cut to the Gungans in their secret place, which is just more forest. We'll get to the Gungans later, but...
Yeah. It's on episode.
Hello?
Once again, it's on episode.
This is the future.
They're talking. He goes, I don't want to fight for you. And Sabe is going...
the Gungans are not into it.
Yeah, well, you must understand. And Padme like cuts her off.
Yeah, Padme's like, Sabe, I don't want to hear another word out of you.
I am Queen Amidala. And he's like...
By the way, no one's like, oh, no, you're not. You're actually just a handmaiden.
Yeah.
Talking to the queen.
Everyone's
just like, oh, you're right. It's totally that one. Why is everyone like that?
Everyone's either aghast or there's a great moment where they cut to Qui-Gon giving like, Obi-Wan a knowing look, and Obi-Wan kind of smirks, and he's like, well played.
Yeah, they're both like
very appreciative.
Like, good job.
Ooh,
and
nicely done.
I think the whole purpose of this, honestly, is the concept is she is finally lifting the veil and saying to the Gungans, who are Naboo's sort of second class, hey, I trust you enough to give you this information.
That was the idea.
I actually like have Keira Knightley play me a lot of the time, and I go hang out with slaves on desert planets, and sometimes.
I ironically enough have only worn 2 of the 7 iconic outfits in this movie because most of the time this other bitch is playing me.
Exactly.
I've been saying bitch a lot on this episode.
Don't like it.
What if I apply it to guys? So this bitch boss ass.
Yeah.
Is like
he's his own problem. What's he like?
He's like,
That's what he's like.
He goes, oh, I don't. No.
That's not what he sounds like. He is his own.
Oh, I am boss enough.
No, another white actor doing a completely different thing, also completely offensive.
Yep. And he loves slobbering out the side of his mouth. Okay, so from this point on, it's Padme, but now she's not in the Royal Queen garb. She's in this sleek number.
Yep.
She's got kind of a flight suit.
Kind of
she's got a gun. Got a little cape.
Got a sexy gun.
Sexy
Everyone
gun.
else has this sort of classic Star Wars blaster kind of big blocky thing.
Yeah.
She has this like sleek, pointy little silver.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is so silvery and sexy.
God. So much. Silver must be their main export.
They don't export. Remember, they have to import everything.
But
what is this planet?
Silver must be to Naboo what corn is to America.
I know.
Where they they're just too
hooked.
much.
They're just hooked on it. Yeah. No, this is a planet that has no products and has to import products. That's the whole point of the trade blockade.
And the invasion.
I would. Why do they invade?
I still don't understand why they invade. I don't understand why. For guys who are so concerned with whether or not things are legal, he finds out.
Illegal.
David just knocked his mic off his mic stand in frustration. He was gesticulating so wildly in frustration. For guys, what happens is, and they keep on asking whether or not things are legal. I won't do my impression again, but they keep on asking whether or not things are legal. They want to block trade.
Yeah.
She's like, you can't do that. And they're like, oh, you say we can't do that? Then we'll invade your planet.
It's very clearly illegal.
Right.
But then again, they just do what Darth whatever tells them to do.
That's akin to being like, I think you're a thief. Oh, you think I'm a thief? For accusing me of being a thief, I will now murder somebody. You're accusing me of doing a small crime, I will now commit a greater crime.
And what is it they want out of Naboo even? Like,
I don't know what they want out of Naboo.
What demands will they not yield to? Like, they're just blockading.
Makes sense.
The whole thing makes sense.
Okay, so now it's Amidala. It's the last 25 minutes of the movie.
Right.
We finally revealed who's who. Sabe is out like yesterday's newspaper.
But she's not really. She's still wearing the Regnal clothes.
I know, and now she's in the middle of a war in a battlefield.
She's in a firefight.
She's in a tough dress. She can't. She's carrying it up by the side. She's tiptoeing around.
She does have a slightly more stripped down like version of it, but it's still she's got like crazy hair, makeup. It's true.
I feel bad for the girl.
Hey man, Keira Knightley's doing just fine.
Hey, she's doing great. Just got her second Oscar nomination.
Congratulations.
Lost
Keira.
to the great Patty Arquette.
She did.
The great.
Yeah, great. Patty
Arquette.
Patty A.
Patty A.
Yeah.
Patty Cakes. So now Amidala saves the day, whatever.
Right.
At the end of the movie, there's a celebration.
No, but there is one last scene that you're forgetting where it's like the Neimoidians are in the throne room and they're like, they see Amidala and they're like, oh, there she is. And then suddenly, like, Padme bursts in, and she's like, "No, it's me." And he says, "Well, that one, I guess, right?" They send him after Keira Knightley because they think that's the real one.
Sure.
And he says about Padme, "This one's a decoy."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So great job. I guess it worked.
Yeah. There's a whole like she sits on it and like gets some secret guns. It's a really dumb scene.
I guess congratulations,
it works.
People of Naboo. Right. It was worth your time to do.
Incredibly convoluted plot pays off. Like it gives them like 10 seconds in which to pull one over the Neimoidian. It grants like a little bit of a window of time. The whole thing.
But here's my big question. Now, to wrap up this episode.
You have a big question?
Yep. We've discussed its importance within the text of the film, within the story. It did work ultimately. You gained 2 seconds. Congratulations. About as effective as sending TC-14 with the T-tray to, quote-unquote, distract them.
Maybe they should have sent TC-14
They always
Naboo.
should send TC.
Yeah.
Sending a droid.
Why aren't you doing an Amidala voice? Because she has the most bizarre fucking accent in this movie.
I think.
It's just when she's being the queen, too. Yeah. Otherwise, she's like, oh, hey, pal, I'm American. And she, eats a big old hamburger.
Yeah.
But when she's
Am I an angel? No. So you're a slave? She's like normal kid.
Yeah, yeah.
The rest of the time she goes, the people of Naboo
I will not
sit
here and discuss this in a committee.
Not is the word. I will not... Every good impression has a key. There's one word you can use to unlock the rest of it.
Right.
I will not... Okay, so it worked, right? But here's my bigger question.
I will not condone a course of action that will lead us to war. That was in the trailer. I remember that. It was a very, very brooding moment.
The movie tried to present this as a surprise to us, the audience.
Yeah, right.
We're not discussing anymore whether or not it was a surprise to the characters, whether it worked.
To the audience. Yeah.
To the audience.
It's a piece of cinema.
Aside from the fact that all the merchandise ruined it.
Right. Forgetting the look. A lot of the audience not as into the merchandise.
I was following things very closely, and the Taco Bell toy was called Queen Amidala's Secret Identity, and it had a Padme figure that you could put inside a Queen Amidala figure.
All right.
So that ruined it pretty thoroughly. Not everyone was following the fast food toy market as much as I was at that time at the ripe old age of 10.
Right.
Okay, but even discounting that, Natalie Portman was considered a rising star. She'd done Leon the Professional. She'd done Beautiful Girls, maybe one other movie.
She'd done Diary
Mars Attacks had come out. Yeah.
She'd done Diary of Anne Frank on Broadway.
Yeah, so she was like it was a big deal. Oh, here's this rising star. She's now in Star Wars. This is going to make her a huge movie star.
Absolutely.
A lot of press around her being in it. In the trailers, they really played up Queen Amidala. They were showing the shots from the beginning with her with the classic, the red dress, and the crazy hair, all that stuff, right? All the marketing material was, here's Queen Amidala, all dolled up, with the makeup, with the hair, in the dress. This is played by Natalie Portman, rising star.
Right.
Oh, also, there's some other character named Padme, played by Natalie Portman.
And they never made it. They never really explained that.
They never explained that.
No.
And it was like, why do some of the Natalie Portman action figures have a different name than other ones? The trading cards, the books, the posters, all of that, right?
Queen Amidala, also Padme.
They tried to hide Padme a little, and they wouldn't talk about it, but they were like, no, it's Queen Amidala's the character. I don't know who this Padme is. Why are you asking me? I haven't who
is that what they were like when Congress
was
asking
we know nothing about Padme.
They like were quiet. And they went,
yeah.
I'm not sure what character you're referring to. Queen Amidala is the leader of
Queen Amidala is played by Natalie Portman.
Yes, that's right.
And Natalie Portman plays one character in the film. I remember being surprised where, like, they're not doing, like, a Mike Myers and Mike Myers in the trailer where they're selling that Natalie Portman plays two roles.
Why didn't they do that, though?
Why aren't they
Natalie Portman and Natalie Portman?
I was like, dual role, that's kind of interesting. Maybe it turns out that they're twins.
Sure.
Instead, it's this weird, like,
it's half-baked.
Princess and the Pauper thing. But why is it
It's not a Princess and the Pauper. It's Princess and her poor decoys who might die. Princess and the servants.
It's like in middle school, Sabe asked out a boy, and he was like, I wish I could, but Padme just asked me out.
Right.
But now you get to be a handmaiden. If you come in second to Padme in any competition, you get to be a handmaiden.
That's how they picked him.
Yeah. Sasha lost Madden 99, and that's how she ended up being
she lost a game of Madden 99.
She lost a game of Madden 99. Anyway, the film wanted this to be a surprise to the audience.
Does it? Yeah.
Okay.
I guess so. I guess the moment when is it a surprise? Is it when she reveals it's the Gungans? Is that the twist?
Yes.
They want that to be a surprise.
I think so. I remember people gasping in the theater.
Wow, I do not remember that. I remember no reaction. But I know you're right. The film does not tip its hand entirely, even though it is sort of clear if you know it. But yeah, you're right.
Watching it now, we know, and it's clear in that,
But George Lucas is like, look, no one's going to be able to tell the difference. And you can't really tell the difference.
I don't think the movie's trying to get you to figure it out. And as we said, it was only rewatching it closely now that we realized how much of the film is Keira Knightley. So this is my question to you.
Oh.
If most of the film you're going to have Natalie Portman playing Padme.
Yeah.
And you're going to publicize the fact that Natalie Portman is in your film, why not say Natalie Portman has been cast in the role of Padme, a handmaiden to the Queen? Playing the role of the Queen, a smaller role, is some unknown British actress, Keira Knightley. And for the entire...
But look out for her, because she might bend it by Beckham sometime.
The entire running time, you're focusing on Padme because she is the more developed character.
Yeah.
Right? You're focusing on Padme.
Dude, it's because Natalie Portman's in the trailer. And she is Amidala sometimes.
But I'm saying...
No, I know. I get you.
If they wanted to genuinely be a surprise, then never have Natalie Portman play Amidala. Never promote that Natalie Portman is Amidala. Cast Keira Knightley as quote-unquote Amidala. Have Natalie Portman as Padme. Be like, this is the little handmaiden girl you're going to fall in love with. And in all the scenes where they're at the Senate, Padme leans over, whispers something. You're like, that's interesting that they're so close, that they're sharing secrets in the middle of the Senate. Little unprofessional, but okay, whatever. Go on. At the end of the movie, Padme reveals, you thought I was but a handmaiden. I am, in fact, the Queen. Right. Now you knew the whole time.
But why would anyone care? Because they'd be like, oh, who's the Queen again? What does the Queen do? Wait,
it just
what's
feels
the
like
handmaiden?
Such a lazy twist when it's like,
everything
we
about
know
this
the two
movie,
actresses. Yeah.
This movie has a lot of plot twists, none of which I feel like could be shocking for the audience, right?
Agreed.
Like, the trailer shows that Darth Maul has two lightsabers, has a dual-edged lightsaber.
Yeah, within the film, it's played off as a big shock.
In the film, it's like it should have just been. We should have shit our pants at the sight of that. It should have been so cool.
Yeah.
But no, they gave that all away. Which, whatever. I get it. It's hard to keep secrets and so on and so forth. And the idea that Palpatine and Darth Sidious, they're the same person.
Same dude. Spoiler alert, they're the same dude.
It's not that hard to tell.
No, they look the same.
They look the same. It's like, oh, that guy, the guy who's kind of like doing all these subtle political machinations, let's put a hood on that guy. Wait a second.
There are two separate instances in this film of two ostensibly separate characters with different names being played by the same actor.
That is right.
And the film acts like both of them are things you won't be able to figure out.
That is also right. This is what I'm saying. Like, it's like George Lucas wanted all the things, the elements of a twisty sci-fi serial, but he wanted cereal.
Ooh.
But he, but none of the payoff. He achieves none of the payoff.
Agreed. Okay, so in conclusion, wrapping it up, the same question we re-examine every week at this point in the show.
What's The Phantom Menace about?
I think it's about the necessary end of aristocracy.
Yeah, I think that that's a totally good thing that we hit on. I think that's a real point.
I think that's a real point.
I think that Naboo, as much as it's beautiful and as much as it has this like really great fine-tuned, clear and easy to understand system of handmaidens and queen.
Right.
And teenagers running the planet. Like, that's all very clear and all makes total sense, and it's great.
Yeah.
It's just great. And everyone in the movie just walks around saying, like, this is so great. Right. I love it. It might be, this is the end of something.
It has to collapse. It's like Ninochka.
It's like Ninochka.
Melvin Douglas falls in love with a communist from Russia.
Yeah.
And she makes him realize, man, my silly, like, French bourgeois lifestyle might not be long for this world.
Or, the French is right? Maybe that's what this is. It's the French.
It's the French.
It's
rules the
Louis
game.
It's the 16th. And it's just, let them eat silver.
Yeah.
And Naboo's just like, give me more silver and more trunks of clothes. And the Trade Federation's like, you guys are a total pain in the ass. We're going to blockade you and invade you. And
it's worth saying, because, of course, the title Episode 1 implies that George Lucas maybe plans to make more of these some days.
Yeah, I think that was the idea. I don't know.
I don't think they ever got around to it, but as a prospective franchise starter.
Right.
One could assume it might be interesting to show the decay.
Right. There's some new order on the way.
And by the time you get to, less long ago in a galaxy far away.
Right. Still a long time ago.
But a little less long ago.
Right.
We're talking maybe only, I don't know.
A squillion years.
Yeah. I don't know what post-BBY is. We know it's 16 BBY, ADY, whatever it is.
Yeah. I think it's...
perhaps the future of this world, these Star Wars worlds,
right? Yeah,
would be a little more run down, a little more beaten down. And it's interesting to watch it at its most decadent, its most formal, with time for these costume changes for handmaidens, these weird human 3-card Monty games that perhaps are a waste of time.
But that was how they kept themselves busy. It was
That's how they kept themselves
Naboo
busy.
has like 2 jobs: Queen, Sio Bibble, and Captain Pancake. So they're like, well, we got a few extra ladies. And can just be the handmaidens, maybe? Like, and then all switch around. Like, then everyone gets to be queen for a day, right?
I think we summed up what Phantom Menace is about in 4 words, at least with regards to the subjects that we discussed today. Mo money, mo problems.
I think we have it in 4 words. Queen for a day.
Nailed it. Thank you.
You nailed it.
To Purdue Ben.
Thank you, Purdue Ben.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for putting on the mic after I knocked it off.
It's
in fury at the illegal action of the Trade Federation.
You guys are passionate. It's good.
I did. I literally just headed this microphone.
It was dramatic.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you, guys.
We'll be back next week.
We'll be back next week.
And may the Schwartz be with you.